I've received a ton of requests to do an S Pen tips and tricks video since there's a lot of people switching over to the Note series for the first time. So today we're gonna do just that. This is gonna be 20 plus S Pen tips and tricks for beginners and experienced users alike. It's definitely gonna be a long one, so please use the time codes and the chapters in the description so that way you can jump around and find what you're looking for. Let's kick it off with number one, and that is Screen Off Memo. Screen Off Memo is probably the first thing you will experience when using the S Pen. It allows you to quickly jot down a memo or a note without having to go into the phone. It works by ejecting the S Pen while the screen is off. It utilizes a true black experience with mid to light gray tones, similar to always on display, in order to conserve battery. So honestly, I think this is one of the best features that Samsung has ever brought to the Note series, even though it is several years old. But it may not be suitable for everyone. Let me show you how to disable it just in case you're not feeling it. Jump into the app drawer and do a quick search for Screen Off Memo. Tap on the first option under Settings and S Pen. At the top, you'll see the option to toggle on and off Screen Off Memo. Another way you can access the majority of the settings we're going to be talking about is by ejecting the S Pen and then tapping on the little cogwheel in the bottom left-hand corner. Next up is a feature called Air Actions, aka the Magic Wand mode. Air Actions allows you to perform various gestures in front of your note with the S Pen while holding down the S Pen button. Different gestures will do different things. For example, the camera app has a ton of useful air action gestures. By holding down the S Pen button and swiping left to right, I can toggle through the various camera modes. Swiping in an upward or downward motion while holding the S Pen button will switch between the front and rear facing cameras. Holding down the same button and doing a little loop-de-loop to the left or to the right will allow you to zoom in or zoom out. Probably not the most useful feature out there, but it's still there in case you want to mess around with it. A single press of the S Pen button will take a picture or start recording a video, and a double press switches between the front and rear cameras as well. One great thing about Air Actions is that they can be customized a little bit. To do that, we need to dive into the S Pen main settings, then look for Air Actions at the very top and tap on it. First, you have the ability to toggle it on and off. If you don't plan on using it at all, just toggle it off, since then it won't consume any system resources. So below that, we have the S Pen connection and battery status, and then below that, we have what happens whenever you hold down the S Pen button. By default, it's set up to launch the camera app. To change this, tap on hold down S Pen button and select the app that you want to launch. This works with third-party apps as well. Under that, we have our Anywhere actions, which as the name implies, can be performed inside of any app or on any screen. This includes phone navigation gestures for back, home, and recents. There's also Smart Select and Screen Write. If you tap on one of these gestures, you can swap the corresponding actions out with each other. Bouncing back to the main Air Actions menu under Anywhere Actions, you'll find App Actions. Here you'll see a list of compatible apps. By tapping on an app, you can toggle it on and off, as well as customize the Air Actions within the app. Some apps will have more support than others. For instance, OneNote has a lot more options versus Samsung Notes. Lastly, below App Actions, there are General App Actions. These are for unsupported camera and media apps that you really can't customize like the above apps. Think of these as universal controls for third-party apps. These two can be customized or toggled on and off. If you're using the S Pen and the screen turns off, chances are you'll have to scan your fingerprint or enter your PIN to get back into your phone. Not a big deal, but it could be a little annoying. To fix this, you can enable S Pen Unlock. First things first, let's dive into the S Pen main settings menu. Look for S Pen Unlock and toggle it on. It's going to ask you for your PIN, so just go ahead and enter it, and that's it. If your phone screen turns off while you're using the S Pen, the first time it's going to ask you for your PIN or fingerprint, and then after that, your screen either will not turn off whatsoever, or if it does turn off, it will allow you to go back into your phone using the S Pen button. There are several different ways you can start creating a note immediately, but one in particular you may not be aware of. First, make sure that Create Note with Pen button is turned on within the main S Pen settings. Now, by holding down the S Pen button and double tapping on the display, it's going to pull up Samsung Notes in a little mini window. AirView is another really neat feature that could be pretty useful to you. When using stock Samsung apps like the Calendar, Gallery, or Internet browser, you can get a little more functionality by hovering your S Pen over certain items. Let me show you. If you're inside the gallery, you can hover the S Pen over pictures to get a bigger preview of that image. If you hover over an album, you can get a quick breakdown of the images inside that album. Another thing I want to show you is inside the Samsung Internet browser, if you hover the S Pen over the bottom or top of the display, you can scroll up and down. Switching over to the Calendar app, you can hover over days to get a larger preview of the events that are associated with that day. So we talked about Screen Off Memo, which happens only when the screen is off and the phone is locked. But if your phone is unlocked and the screen is on, by default, ejecting the S Pen opens up Air Command. This can be changed if we dive into the S Pen settings and scroll down until we see S Pen is removed. Tap on that. You can change it from Air Command to Create Note or have it do nothing at all. Speaking of Air Command, when you launch it, you're going to see several shortcuts on the right-hand side. These shortcuts can be moved around, and you can also add apps to this shortcut menu if you want to access some third-party apps on the fly. You can quickly organize these shortcuts by opening up Air Command, holding down on an app, and dragging it to anywhere you want. Additionally, you can drag it to the top to remove it from the shortcut menu. If you want to add an app, you'll need to dive into the S Pen settings, scroll down until you see shortcuts and tap on that. Inside of here, you can drag and drop apps to the shortcut menu on the right. You can move around apps and change the order by dragging and dropping. Finally, hitting the minus sign will remove the app from that shortcut menu. Before we get out of the shortcut settings, I want to show you a few more things worth enabling. So make sure you're back on this screen. We're going to move Translate, Bixby Vision, Glance, Magnify, Coloring Book, and Write on Calendar over to the S Pen Quick Access menu. You do this by holding down each app and moving them over to the shortcut list. You really don't have to enable all of these if you don't want to. Let me quickly go over what each of them can do, and then you can use the ones that you like. Let's first start with Translate. Whenever you encounter a word or words in a language that is foreign to you, simply go into Air Command and turn on Translate. Select the written language, and then select the language that you need it translated to. Then hover the S Pen over the text and watch it instantly translate. So Translate is pretty cool, I'm not gonna lie, especially if you do a lot of traveling. However, hover over Bixby Vision is also pretty useful. Bixby Vision with the S Pen is pretty powerful. So to turn it on, just dive into the Air Command menu and tap on Bixby Vision. If we take a quick look at the settings, you can see it's capable of translating text, discovering people, places, objects, animals, and a whole lot more. It can help you find something that you want to purchase or scan a QR code. Okay, so for example, if I go into Instagram and find someone's picture, hover the S Pen over it, you can see it's giving me choices. I can shop for items in the image, look up information about the image, scan for text, or scan if there's a QR code present. If I tap on the photo icon, it displays similar images with a little bit more information about each image. Bixby Vision can pretty much be used in any app. However, sometimes the results may not be exactly what you're looking for. Nonetheless, it's powerful and really cool. Then there's Glance. Let's say you're inside an app like Spotify and you want to shrink the app down but still be able to access it extremely quick on the fly. Well, go into Air Command and tap on Glance. It's going to place the app in a super small window at the bottom of the screen. Hovering the S Pen over the app will bring it back up, and once the S Pen is moved away from the display, it's going to shrink back down. Holding down on the app and dragging it to the top where it says Remove will close Glance. In my opinion, this is a super powerful multitasking tool, so I definitely suggest that you give it a shot. Magnify is another really neat feature. If you're having a hard time reading really small font, or say you want to look closer at an image like this one, go into Air Command and tap on Magnify. The S Pen will now work as a magnifying glass as you hover over the display. You can adjust the zoom percentage at the top and you can really get in there. If you struggle with bad vision, or say you just like looking at the finer details, you're going to love Magnify. Next up, we have Coloring Book. Many people forget that the Note series comes with a built-in coloring book. Once you add the shortcut like I showed you prior, just dive into Air Command and tap on Coloring. There's quite a few images to choose from with many different ways to personalize and color your image. This is also excellent if you have children that really enjoy coloring. Lastly, let's take a quick look at Write on Calendar, which is something I rarely use, but I know a lot of people that love it. To use it, dive into Air Command and select Write on Calendar. It's going to pull up your calendar, and just like the name implies, it allows you to use the S Pen to write on the calendar. You can circle events, cross days off, connect events with arrows. Y'all get the point. Back in the day, Samsung made it really easy to composite images together. Many people thought they removed this ability, but nope, It's just a lot harder to get to because it's a little hidden. The first thing you need to do is find a picture that contains whatever it is you want to remove, like this one. Tap on the little pencil icon on the bottom to pull up the editor, then select the lasso tool by tapping on the cloud. Draw around the subject you want to extract. More than likely, it's not going to be perfect. You can use the plus and the minus to add or remove parts of the selection until you get it as close as you can. Once you're finished, tap on the check mark. Before saving the image, scroll over until you see the portrait tools and tap on them. If you're extracting a face, sometimes you can use the spot fixer to smooth out the composite. Once finished, tap the check mark and then save the image. Now find the image that you want to be the background, like this one. Tap on the pencil icon on the bottom to pull up the editor. Swipe over and tap on the sticker tools. Look for the gallery icon on the far right and select it. Now go into your photos and locate the image you extracted and select that. Move and rotate the image until you get it placed correctly and tap save. Now tap on the pencil icon again to pull up the editor and go back into the portrait tools. Use the spot fixer as well as the other tools to try to blend the image together the best that you can. Once you have it looking pretty good, tap the check mark. Then to add a finishing touch, tap on the three little dots in the top right corner, select style, and pick yourself out a really cool filter effect to blend the images together. It's not Photoshop quality by any means, but it's a fun trick that you can do on the go using your Galaxy Note 20 Ultra. Another nifty feature that you can use the S Pen for is converting handwriting to text. Let's start by opening up Air Command and selecting Create Note. Once inside Samsung Notes, just write you out a love note that even Cupid couldn't top. Then tap on the Convert Text button on the bottom. It's really small and tough to see, but it's next to the undo arrow. As soon as you tap on it, it's going to select your handwriting and convert it entirely to text. You could choose to copy it and paste it somewhere else or convert it right inside Samsung Notes. Before jumping out of Samsung Notes, let me show you one more thing. If you look in the toolbar on the bottom all the way over to the right, you're going to find an option to auto-fix shapes. If you select and start to draw shapes, it's going to automatically correct them to keep your lines and curves clean. I actually just discovered this myself and I thought it was pretty neat, so that's why I'm sharing it with you. Like I said in a previous video, I think I'm going to do a full video on Samsung Notes because it's incredibly powerful. For now, let me show you something that's really awesome. If you have ever had to bounce between two apps in order to copy over information from one into the other, you're going to love Pen to Screen. Let's say I was writing up an article and I found some information that I wanted to quickly jot down. I can go into Air Command and tap on Smart Select, then tap Pen to Screen, which is on the far right. Adjust the box so it gets all of the information you need and tap Pen to Screen. Now I can leave that app and open up something like OneNote and write down the important parts. This is also great for drawing since you can pin an image of your subject to the display. It can be moved around as you work, so if it gets in the way, just move it out of the way. It's also a great way to snag a small screenshot from something that you're watching. Moving on, we have an old school personal favorite of mine, and that's Create GIF. I said GIF, not GIF. If you're watching a video and you see something funny, you can extract that portion and create a GIF. Said it again. Go into Air Command, Smart Select, and tap on the Create GIF button. Adjust the quality to your liking and tap Record. Once finished, you can tap on the pencil icon and use the S Pen to doodle on the display if you want, or just save it as it is. Smart Select is pretty powerful, right? Well, you can also extract text and objects with it. Let's say you're on a website and want to extract a couple images and text. Go into Air Command, Smart Select, and use the rectangle, lasso, or oval tool to select the areas that you want to save. If it's an image, you can pin to screen or save the image to your gallery. If it's text, you can extract the text, copy it, or share it inside of another app. Smart Select is super powerful for gathering ideas and thoughts for upcoming projects, or if you're just a digital scrapbooker. Moving on to the next little trick I have for you, and that's to spice up your text messages with live messages. Dive into Air Command and select Live Messages. You could choose to write on an image in your gallery, quickly take a photo and use that, or use a colored background. I'm going to use a colored background. Once you select your background and tap Start Drawing, you can pick between a few different pens or markers that do different effects. You can also change up the color you're writing in. I'm just going to quickly pick a marker real quick, adjust the thickness and size, then I'll write in blue. I'm going to write out a little message here, maybe draw a little face, and then tap the play button to preview it. As you see, the marker has this really cool glowing effect, and each marker is a little different. If you're happy with the way it came out, tap done, and it's going to save this short little video clip to your gallery, and now you can share it on social media or through a text or other messaging client. Speaking of texting with your handwriting, you can actually do this inside of the Samsung keyboard. Let's say you're writing up a message but want to write it out by hand. If you're using the Samsung stock keyboard, tap on the three little dots to the right and select Handwriting. Now you can write out the message using the S Pen, and it's going to automatically convert it to text for sending. Not the most practical thing in the world, don't get me wrong, but it is fun. Don't judge me. Since the S Pen is basically like a finger when it comes to interacting with your phone's display, it would make sense that you can use it for games, and you can. Yep, you could use the S Pen for better control when playing games like Fruit Ninja and many others. As long as the game has pretty simple controls, it should work fine. I mean, I'd turn me into a freaking samurai warrior in Fruit Ninja. The last thing you can do with the S Pen might be obvious, but beginners may overlook it, and that's signing a document. You'll need to head over to the Play Store or the Galaxy App Store and download a PDF sign and fill app. I use Adobe's, but there are a ton out there to choose from. Make sure you get yourself a free one though. There's really no reason to pay for something like this unless you're wanting more than just the basics. Anyways, once you find yourself an app, you'll be able to open up PDF documents inside the app and utilize the S Pen to sign them. This is one of the biggest benefits, in my opinion, when it comes to owning a Galaxy Note and using the S Pen. I love this feature, and it's come in clutch so many times. Well, dang, there you are. If you're seeing this, you made it to the end of the video, and that in itself should be a life goal. Hopefully you're able to learn a thing or two, and now you feel a little more comfortable and efficient with your S Pen. If this is your first time using the S Pen, let me know down in the comments, and also let me know how you're liking it. If you enjoyed this video, consider giving it a thumbs up, subscribe for more videos just like this, and I'm gonna see you drop dead gorgeous individuals in the next video.